Now, the Labor Party, the Labor government, does have a token scheme. It's the Home Guarantee Scheme, in which the government guarantees a loan of up to 95% of the property. Effectively, it means families don't have to save up such a large deposit in order to get into their own home. But this, Michael, entails considerable risk, doesn't it? What if there's a recession, the real estate market tanks, and these new owners foreclose because they've missed repayments? The government's left holding the baby, isn't it?
Well, I'm a big supporter of the Home Guarantee Scheme because I created it. It's quite perverse that the Labor Party's out spruiking that policy which they inherited from us. It's actually been in operation for a number of years. One of the things that we tried to do, Fred, to make sure we avoided the pitfalls you've just spoken about is these are not subprime loans. These are people who have to pass every credit check, every credit assessment that would ordinarily exist for a bank. So, in no way, shape or form are these being offered to people who otherwise wouldn't be able to access credit elsewhere. I deliberately set the scheme up to do that. The fact that the Labor Party's out there spruiking the Coalition's Home Guarantee Scheme, though, tells you everything. That the only policy to help first home buyers that exists today is a landmark Coalition policy. Now, you're right, there will be a risk of some defaults, but my advice is that the defaults under the Home Guarantee Scheme are actually lower than the general market at the moment. Now, it's one of those things we'll have to keep watching. You can imagine if the Labor Party had tried to set up a scheme like this, I don't think they would have been as prudent as we were in making sure that really you're only admitting really good credit-worthy borrowers to the scheme. That's what I think has underpinned its success so far. But we'll have to keep an eye on it, and particularly as I'd expect interest rates continuing to rise, we will have to be alive to those risks into the future of those people with relatively low levels of deposits in home ownership in a market that's falling. I would just add one thing though, Fred, and it's perverse, but because the Labor Party has mismanaged housing so badly and there are so few homes now being built, I think it's unlikely that we see wholesale reduction in values simply because the supply of housing just cannot keep up with demand. So I think you're probably less likely to see those sorts of defaults occurring simply because the value of homes will be held artificially high, not because of anything good the government's doing, but because there's no supply of new housing. There's no new homes for people to own or live in, which is just going to, I think, keep prices up. So it's a really sad situation and being compounded with 1.5 million migrants coming in over 5 years.
Yeah, well said. And my mistake, I didn't know that was your own policy, so you defended it well.
Well, you'd be forgiven for thinking it was Labor policy, Fred, because it's the only thing that helps first home buyers. Of course it's a coalition policy because anything that helps first home buyers would not be dreamt up by Labor, I can assure you.
Yeah.